treat yourself.
Oh well.
I have
Delicacies, only the best.
anything. Friends of providing magic.
Take a look.
My sir, you look as though you have a kind heart. Please, spare a penny for me. Just one.
A Sunchilder. I bet you came to watch those fools cut their guts open in the dust pit. Well, that's the only reason you snobs ever come down here. Yes. Trout, salmon, halibut, whatever you need. May the Lightborn guide your steps.
Do you hear it? Do you hear him talking to us through the depths? It's him. It's the Black God.
Move along.
Something you want to tell me? Soon.
Rialta Shara.
Pity. He was a good man. Observe, don't fear.
Yeah? Had any luck? Good. Very good. Here. This should compensate you for your efforts. Yeah? Had any luck?
Relata Shara. Move along.
From the upper city, huh? You got guts walking
What a
around with all that
surprise.
stuff down here.
Didn't think I'd ever see you again. I don't want to know. If the Relata acts, you don't ask questions. That's the first rule you should hammer into your head down here. In other words, it's fine. The crowd was a bit disappointed, but technically, you won. Though, as I'm sure you understand, I can't pay you this time. How about never? Why? Because no pit fighter, no matter how powdered and glimmer-capped dust he is, will voluntarily fight a friend of the Relata. If he loses, he dies. If he wins, he dies too, because the father's voice will come get him. And now come on, don't give me that look. You earned a shitload of money in a very short time. Maybe you can come back in a couple of moons or so, if the dust has settled. But until then, forget about it.
So many fights, so little money.
I'm one of them.
Relata Sarash, brother.
My sir.
Obvious, my son. Please. What will we do?
Bloody wench thinks she's Vata incarnate.
My sir.
She's coming to her soon.
A penny, my sir. Please, just one penny.
Midnight. Between cobblestone and excretion. Between darkness and light.
Yes?
Life isn't easy.
Hear my words, O Patagonia people of this holy city.
Hungry? I've got
Hungry
just what
for
a weary
onions?
traveler needs.
I have.
Morales pheasings, my friend.
Anything for
Only
friends
the
of
best.
What?
and
What are
fresh
you
from the
talking
Red
about?
Sea.
Ah, yes, certainly. The potion. So, I was right about it, wasn't I? By Morala's silken hair! How strong and healthy you look!
If it's clam and
The embodiment of raw and spicy manliness you are!
And Doonville.
Well, shit. I had hoped you wouldn't know this. Here's your game penny, and the money you paid me. Oh my. You haven't seen much of this world, have you? The game penny. It is a symbolical guerdon. A Chilean merchant pays to his customer if he or she... Well, you know. Fraud. Ugh, such an ugly word. We Chileans consider every human being to be able to decide for themselves what they believe. But forgive my demeanor. I sometimes forget which country this is. We Chileans always like to say, a good haggling is like making love. No matter how it ends, having had it is better than not having had it at all. But since this is not Chile, I'll give you a discount on my wares. That should be enough of a compensation. Don't you agree? Spices, rugs, delicacies, only the best. Straight from Chile. Take a look. Farewell. Yeah. That's just how it is.
sir. We always go too easy.
Dawn is coming. Seek the first seer.
Yes?
What?
An obolus, my son.
Stones and excretion.
But
Interesting. I was just thinking about you. Called you? What do you mean? Did he send a messenger? Psionics. Figures. No, it wasn't your dream. It was an illusion. You must have planted it in your head while you were at the temple and simply triggered it last night. A mental puppet play, if you want to call it that. No idea. Probably some kind of passphrase. Well, go see him. You'll see what this is all about then, but I'm pretty sure he's considering you for the mission. And this is his last test. In other words, our plan has worked. Correct. And, thank you for filling me in on this.
Benny, my sir, please just won't Benny.
We're watching.
My sir.
Move along.
Relata Shera. Soon. soon.
Rialta Shara.
Stupid shit. Oh, pity.
I thought my instructions were clear. Wait until you hear from us. A dream. That. Oh, I understand. Then go see Brother Sorrow at once and tell him the same thing. He will lead you to the Father. It doesn't matter. That is correct. Which is why I hope that you realize how great an honor this is. Go up to the tower, deeper into the mountain. At the end of the hallway, you'll find stairs ending in a wall. Now go. The Father must not be kept waiting.
Relata Shara, you know why we're here.
Keep walking, Sunchild.
I beg you, brother, just 5 minutes.
No.
But I am ready. I can feel it, don't you understand? And if only the Father could see me now, he'd see it too. Please, Brother Sorrow. I know that the last step is near. I want to be there when it's done.
No.
You'll see. You'll bloody see. All of you.
Go.
I understand. You may pass. Descend. You'll see.
So you received my message. Good. Come, take a seat. I will be with you in a moment. Well then, good to finally meet you in person. I would introduce myself to you, but you already know who I am. That is correct. The First Seer has already told me about you. He said that you and Brother Wrath recovered the lost pages, and also that you are, how should I say, unusual. He did not lie, as I see now. You do indeed have something peculiar about you. Tell me, how do you feel about Brother Wrath, Farrell, as you call him? Well, do you feel sympathy, antipathy, affection, hatred, or maybe even a connection of sorts? I see. Be that as it may, the First Seer had nothing but praise for you, and suggested that I consider you for our expedition, and I have, provided that you are still interested. Good to hear. The formalities first. You will receive 250 pennies in advance, and another 250 if the mission turns out to be a success. A generous pay, as you no doubt realize. I assume you know that it will be dangerous. Nonetheless, I would like you to understand the background of this undertaking fully if you are to work with us. Come. I present the human body, a simulacrum. It's not. As I said, I want you to understand. Does the name Manit Dalgalang sound familiar to you? The man who left his body. He was one of the former Grand Masters of the Order, a righteous man, but also of a very reclusive nature. It is said that Dalgalang had always been a little peculiar. In the few records that are left of him, he once described how he never felt as though he belonged in this world. Thus, he made freeing himself from this sense of estrangement his purpose in life. Yes, as though life was a bad play that his body was forced to take part in, Dalgalang despised all the other things people enjoyed. He didn't copulate, ate only as much as his body needed, and slept very little. Well, one day he vanished, just like that, in the bright light of day, during one of his meditations at the Eye of the Gods. Even though there were observers, the Order didn't record his vanishing in the chronicles for obvious reasons. According to them, Dalgalang simply disappeared on a pilgrimage. I believe so. He succeeded in freeing his spirit from the vessel of his body, and the strange occurrences that happened after confirm my theory. His mother, for example, insisted that he visited her in spectral form at the death feast, and told her that he was sorry. His servant, who was the closest thing Dalgalang had to a friend, heard his voice when he laid down flowers at his pathstone. Or the keepers, who saw a ghost meditating in his former laboratory at night. All coincidences or phantasms, you may say, but to me, it is clear that Dalgalang achieved his goal. He managed to separate his soul from his body. He achieved transcendence. I suppose you could say that, yes. Dalgalang was among the first humans to realize how misguided we are and how little of our potential we actually use. When I first heard his story, I instantly recognized myself in him. In particular, his fascination with the idea of overcoming our fleshly nature. I was enthralled and made this idea the purpose of my life, which finally led me to found the Relata. Frankly, I still find it baffling how few people share this quest. All they care about is the satisfaction of their carnal desires. They are so proud of what separates them from a pig, and yet they achieve little else in their lives. Eat, copulate, die. And all it would take to show them what their minds are capable of would be a glimpse into their dreams. Either way, I digress. Well, are we not freer in our dreams than we could ever be in waking life? we can have our bodies take on every shape there is, and time and space are meaningless. Imagine having this kind of freedom in reality. Exactly, and that's where you come in. As it turns out, the secret to transcendence was hidden in the lost pages of J.L. Tannyson's book, where he describes his initiation ritual in the Room of Paintings. That is correct. But I have had the pleasure of talking to some of them over the centuries, and was able to convince them to divulge their secrets to me. It's not some kind of room. The Room of Paintings is a force of nature, one that has the power to change you in a way that far exceeds the ability of normal magic. Either way, I will spare you the details. What you need to know is that we believe the Room of Paintings to be inside a temple we excavated over the past years. And that is what this expedition is about. You and the other mercenaries will venture into its depths and establish a portal for Myra Lame and me to step through once you found the room, where we will finally sever our minds from our bodies. Correct. It will prevail. Only the Relame who have proven themselves worthy will ascend with me. The rest of them will stay behind with the first seer, who will take over the mask. Then, when the time comes, they will follow us. No. First, because I have reason to believe that the weak-willed among us wouldn't survive the separation. Second, because our teachings are too important to risk them getting lost. Someone needs to continue spreading our faith. What it is or who built it, I can't say. Only that it must have been an ancient civilization. And by ancient, I mean one that existed long before the Pyreans. The Black Libra, the cult the Butcher of Ark belonged to, merely used this place to conduct their rituals of initiation. In the Frostcliff Mountains, that's where you will go. They could, but the temple is dangerous. Only if you let them eat you. According to my research, 4 groups need to enter the temple simultaneously through its 4 individual entrances. These groups will be made up of 2 mercenaries and 1 voice each to guide you. Once you've found the temple, your mission will be considered a success, and you will be paid. Any questions? I don't know. Finding that out is part of your mission. As soon as possible, after this conversation has ended, you will make your way to the excavation site and wait for my arrival. Since you've already worked with Brother Raph, you will form a group with him and another mercenary I will choose myself. Do you have a map? Show me. Good. This is where you'll find the site. I recommend you take a Myrad to the Frostcliff Tavern and walk from there. You will. Ask. Yes. Shady business. I do not consider our business as shady. It is merely the circumstances which make it appear as such. Ultimately, it's a simple bargain. We offer the people safety, and they pay us for it. No different from what the guards do for the noblemen. Fair point. However, if we were to permit the people down here to form their own militias, it would merely be a matter of moons until these militias would turn into gangs and start fighting each other. We ensure stability, and all we ask for in return is a small tribute. Those who have nothing to give do not need to pay. Maybe, maybe not. But you need to understand it is neither my intent to cause suffering nor to change the world for the better. I am a scientist whose goal it is to achieve transcendence for my lands and for myself. That is all. Well observed. Yes, it is. When I created the Ralas, I drew inspiration from a myriad of philosophical, religious, and spiritual writings, and some of these were Kyranian. Ralata Shera means the variety of things. See the Ralata. I see the Ralata. The Ralata knows. Take your pick. It is. Ask the Lightborn. Extending one's life a little is not as hard as you may think, but I am not immortal, if that is what you wanted to know. Good question. I suppose it is because you are different somehow. You have a presence that fascinates me, and even though I do not understand why it does, it was enough to spark my interest. I'm afraid an appropriate answer would take more time than we can spare. Suffice it to say that psionics is a powerful school when mastered. I will try to answer. I'm afraid I don't have an answer to that. It could be that we see what the Butcher of Ark saw, but I do not think that will happen. As I said, the room always shows us that which we must see. It has the power to change us, but what this change ultimately looks like depends on our intentions as we enter it. There are plans, but I do not expect that to happen. Allow me to answer with another question. Of all the characteristics that make you the person you are, which one is paramount? That hair on your cheeks? The piece of meat between your legs? Or that which allows you to have this conversation with me? Is that so? If I were to extract your consciousness and transfer it into a new artificial body, would you suddenly be another person, simply because your vessel had changed? Gender is just another asinine attribute we wrongly identify ourselves with. Isn't it ludicrous if you think about it? We are so proud of what apparently separates us from animals, yet we blindly submit ourselves to the domination of our flesh. Young, old, beautiful, hideous, man, woman, all descriptors of something ultimately irrelevant. It is, isn't it? Probably because I never considered myself a spiritual leader. I am a scientist. In fact, I don't think much of religion. Knowledge, introspection, and silence are the keys to spiritual growth, not blind obedience to the rules as religion preaches it.
Move along. my sir.
Move along. What the? Oh, you. I take it you accepted the father's invitation. Tell me. I see. Though I still don't understand why the father wanted you personally. That's not like him at all. Either way, now comes the critical part. This expedition is the only chance we're going to get. The fact that he assigned us both to the same group is a good start. Join our cause? We don't. We kill him the first chance we get. The last thing we need is an additional risk. Well then, I suggest you head to the temple as soon as possible. I'll probably arrive with the father. No idea. Let's just prepare for the worst. Until then, I'm counting on you.
Don't hit my son. Please just bump ahead.
Yes? Monsieur?
So much to do, so little time.
Yes?